YouTube, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. Whether you're a returning viewer and subscriber or a new friend, I hope you enjoyed today's video where we're going to wrap up my Disney Vacation Club journey. This is part 3. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button to like the video, and if you are new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can ring that bell icon for notifications for whenever I post new videos. In part 1 of my DVC journey, we discussed my desire for a Bay Lake Tower home resort contract that ideally was under 100 points. I was waffling a bit about pursuing this contract on the resale market versus directly through Disney. Thanks to all of your input in the comment section on that video, my conviction was renewed for the value of the resale market. In part 2 of my DVC journey, I kind of surprisingly made an offer on a contract, and then I walked everyone through the beginning process working with a resale company and the expected timeline that I was provided. In today's video, we are going to wrap this up with part 3. I'm so excited to share with you all that I did get past the right of first refusal review by Disney, and the contract is now mine. Stay tuned to learn the details and see the full timeline I experienced for buying a DVC contract on the resale market. I have been researching Disney Vacation Club somewhat intensely for a few years now, and honestly, I had no intentions of definitely buying a contract until potentially even late 2021. However, my partner and I were able to save for this goal fairly aggressively without impacting our day-to-day budgets or more important savings like my savings account for my medical expenses. Then a contract that matched more or less exactly what I wanted happened to pop up while I was just very casually browsing DVC resale sites. If you find the resale market overwhelming, I recently uploaded a video where I walk you through how I browse DVC resale sites. I will leave a link to that video in the description below, or you can go ahead and click the card here to learn more. As a review, I really wanted a Bay Lake Tower home resort contract with an August or September use year and something under 100 points. I think 75 or 80 points would be ideal, but I also knew that that point amount would be pretty hard to come across on the resale market most likely. On Sunday, August 9th, I came across a Bay Lake Tower resale contract with an August use year for 90 points. The contract was stripped, meaning that there were no points left for the August 2020 use year, and the first annual allotment of points that I would have access to would come during August 2021. This can be a deterrent for some, but it worked well with my vacation plans in mind, and it was listed at $149 per point. This contract was actually listed on the Friday prior, so Friday, August 7th. I just happened to only come across it on Sunday, August 9th. I didn't have high hopes that I would be the first offer, but it seems that perhaps I was wrong. That same day, on Sunday, August 9th, my partner and I agreed to put an offer in at $143 per point. So for those of you who didn't know, yes, you absolutely can haggle price through the resale market. My offer was communicated to the seller, who came back and wanted to meet in the middle at $146 per point. After a long discussion, my partner and I decided to go for it, and we communicated our acceptance of the counter offer that same day. The next day, on August 10th, I provided the names for the deed to the resale company, and they began drafting up the initial contract. On August 11th, I received the DocuSign version of that contract, which myself and my partner signed on that day. Here I was told that I owed a deposit of at least 10% of the total amount, but no more than $2,000. We were able to pay this deposit on a credit card with no additional fees. We submitted a form to the resale company allowing them to charge our card for 10% of the total transaction for our deposit. This happened that same day, August 11th. On August 13th, I was notified by the resale company that the contract had been submitted to Disney for their right of first refusal review. If you're new to the Disney Vacation Club jargon, check out this video that I did explaining right of first refusal. I will also leave the link in the description down below. During this email, I was given a lot more specifics about what to expect. I was told Disney takes around 30 days to do the right of first refusal review, and if you get through that step, then it's an additional 2 to 3 weeks for the estoppel certificate to be issued to the title company. Then, the seller and buyer are sent closing documents, and once both parties have signed those, the contract can close. This is also when the final funds are due from the buyer. Once the contract is closed and recorded, a copy is sent over to Disney for membership activation, which normally takes around 2 to 3 weeks. Although I was given all of these timelines, I was also warned that due to COVID-19, presumably the furloughs and layoffs of the DVC cast members, that the timelines may be extended. Particularly for this step of member activation, I was told this could take 45 to 60 days instead of that normal 2 to 3 week time range. In total, I was warned that the entire process could take 50 to 80 days. 5 days later, on August 18th, I received a receipt from the title company, so not the resale company now, I was working with the title company now, for that 10% deposit. Interestingly, this did not post my credit card statements until August 20th, a couple days later. That same day, August 18th, I also received a separate email from the title company, including the open escrow letter. I was to review and verify everything, or if things weren't correct, make any necessary changes. That same day, August 18th, I signed and sent back the open escrow letter, and then the next day, August 19th, the title company let me know they had received that document. Closing documents were delivered to me on September 23rd. Buyers do not have to get anything notarized, although note that sellers do. Since buyers don't have to get anything notarized, my partner and I just electronically filled out all the closing documents and sent them back via email. That being said, if you want to print them out and mail them in, the title company did provide me with a prepaid FedEx shipping label in order to mail those documents back in. During this closing time, the final balance is due, although not with a particularly strict timeline. The title company did not automatically send over wire transfer instructions, so we did have to request those, but they were sent back that same day. At this point, I was feeling slightly lost in the process because I had not been notified if the estoppel certificate had been received, and I assumed that that had to have happened for the closing documents to begin. On September 26th, I inquired about this via email, and I was correct that the estoppel certificate had been received, and that's why we could proceed to closing documents, although I was never told what date the estoppel certificate was received. In that same email on September 26th, I also asked if I would be notified when the seller turned in their documents. In the reply to my email on September 28th, I was told that this is not standard practice, but they would make a note in my file and tell me when the seller had turned in their documents. From that email, I waited about a week to hear back from the title company about the seller signing their documents. However, I never received word from the title company about this and decided to move forward with the wire transfer anyway. I wired over the remaining amount, so the total amount minus the deposit that I had already paid on October 2nd. This was about a week and a half after closing documents were delivered to me as well as the seller. Note that I found different banks had pretty different rules and fees for wiring funds. For me, this was a domestic wire transfer, which certainly made things easier. But different banks did certainly have different processes and different fees associated with wire transfers over amounts of either $5,000 or $10,000. My partner and I have several bank accounts located at different banks, so we did some research to figure out what would be the cheapest and easiest for us. We went ahead with the USAA Bank, where I was able to complete a wire transfer over the phone for over $10,000 all in one go with just a $20 processing fee. That same day, October 2nd, USAA let me know that my wire transfer had been completed. On October 6th, the title company emailed me and let me know that the deed had been transferred to the county for recording. Once it was recorded, then it would be sent over to Disney for transfer of ownership. During this correspondence, I was told that the transfer would take around 2 to 3 weeks. On October 15th, the resale company emailed me, essentially just congratulating me on my transaction and asking me to review them on Facebook and Yelp. I totally understand them soliciting reviews, but I of course was hoping for something a little bit more substantial about my contract, so I was very excited initially and then kind of let down after reading the email. In this email, the resale company did let me know that my documents officially closed on October 5th. Therefore, it looks like either later that day or just one day later, the title company was moving forward with getting ownership transferred. Also in this email from the resale company, I was told that the transference could take about 3 to 5 weeks as opposed to the title company who quoted me at 2 to 3 weeks. Friday, October 23rd, both myself and my partner, who were both listed on the deed, received 2 emails from Disney Vacation Club. One with our membership IDs and then a separate email with an activation code. So we could each now create our Disney Vacation Club accounts and log into that member-only section. This email did note that it would take an additional 7 to 10 business days for points to show up in my account. So while I could finally log into my DVC account, which was super exciting, my dashboard did show 0 points for the August 2020 use year, which was correct because I did buy a stripped contract, but it also showed 0 points for the August 2021 use year, which is not correct, it's just that the points hadn't been transferred over yet. We got these emails from Disney Vacation Club around 3:30 to 4 p.m. on that Friday, October 23rd. We did both create our membership's login and browse the site, but kind of left that at that and didn't log back in that day. The next day, Saturday, October 24th, I logged into my DVC account just for fun, and to my complete shock, my points had been loaded. So my dashboard now read August 2020 use year, 0 points, August 2021 use year, 90 points. So my full amount of points were now loaded to my account just 1 day later. I really wasn't expecting these to show up for somewhere around, 7 to 10 business days later as the email warned, so I was so completely delighted. I don't know if these were perhaps loaded on Friday, October 23rd after I logged out, since I never logged back in that night. What I do know is they were definitely there by mid-afternoon on Saturday, October 24th. So for me as a user, I only experienced a 1-day delay between setting up my account and getting my points. That was a super surprising turnaround time that I was obviously so thrilled about. All in all, the complete resale process, from me submitting an offer on a resale contract to me getting my points in my new DVC account, ran from August 9th to October 24th. This is essentially 76 to 77 days in total. I'm giving that 1-day wiggle room since I'm really not sure exactly when my points were loaded. That timeline is basically 2.5 months or about 11 weeks. If you remember from earlier in this video, near the beginning of this process, the resale company let me know it typically takes 50 to 80 days. 77 days for me is definitely near the high end of this range, but essentially the resale company was spot on. I do think that I got a tad lucky in that, for the most part, some steps were maybe a tad slow, but I certainly didn't experience a huge prolonged waiting period like it was suggested that I might due to the COVID-19 layoffs and furloughs. I had mentally prepared for this to take much longer, especially that step in getting my DVC membership activation. Normally this only takes around 2 to 3 weeks, and I certainly fell within that timeline, but I was warned it could take 45 to 60 days, which is definitely a lot longer. This is obviously my personal experience. It's just a sample size of one of going through the resale process, but I hope it does give you an approximate estimate of what you can expect for the timeline if you are going to pursue a resale contract. There were layoffs for DVC cast members, so I expect they are still understaffed and we may see prolonged timelines for months to come. This is definitely not a fast process and you absolutely need to pack your patience. Now that it's over, I cannot even begin to describe the relief and joy that I'm feeling. To have this come to fruition after literal years of planning, it's obviously very satisfying to say the least. That long timeline for the resale process is absolutely a deterrent for some folks though, and may push them to buy directly from Disney instead. After having seen my complete timeline for going through the DVC resale process, does this dissuade you at all from pursuing the resale market? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, I finally have access to the members only portion of the DVC website. I'm definitely going to be making more DVC videos in the future exploring aspects of this members only portion, but if there's a specific topic you want me to look into, let me know in the comments down below. The point of my channel is to get information out there, so I'd be happy to try to make this as transparent as possible for you. The DVC world is murky enough as it is, and any way I can help, I am absolutely willing to. If you want to chat outside of the comments down below about anything Disney Vacation Club or really anything Disney, you can also find me on other social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram at PixieDustPhD. Thank you so much for watching and coming along this DVC journey with me. I hope you're having a magical day. I know that I am, and we'll see you real soon at PixieDustPhD.